All right, how's everybody doing? Hotep, hey, this is Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network, host of the African History Network show. I'm a talk show host, researcher, lecturer, writer, and historian. It is Tuesday, May 31st, 2022, and we are live. So I wanted to do a brief overview of a 10-week online course that I teach on Saturdays. You probably have heard me talk about it previously if you listen to the African History Network show. It's an exciting 10-week online history class that I teach called Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Kemet's one of the original names for Egypt. So I teach this class usually on Saturdays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. So as soon as you register, you can watch the class we just did this past weekend. All right, so I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. And we look at this history chronologically as much as possible. So I want to do a brief overview here. We're going to look at some slides here. And these are some of the actual slides from the class. These are some actual slides from the class. So everybody share this broadcast on social media platforms and give us a thumbs up, give us a heart, give us a like. And we have the information here, the thread of the broadcast, so you can register for this online course. And we have it in a bundle pack also, where you get a lot of bonus content as well. So we'll talk some about that. So we can start studying our history in slavery. Even when we study the transatlantic slave trade, which is important to study, we can't start in 1619 or in the 1440s and 1441 with the Portuguese Anton Gonçalves going into what is present-day Mauritania and picking up Africans, taking them back to Portugal. We have to understand the history chronologically and deal with the 800-year occupation of Europe by the Africans known as the Moors, who entered the Iberian Peninsula, today known as Spain and Portugal, from North Africa in 711 AD. And the Moors are taking the teachings from ancient Kemet, from ancient Egypt into Europe. From the Nile Valley region of Africa, they're taking this into Europe, and this is what is going to bring Europe out of the Dark Ages, and it's going to be to our detriment. So this course not only deals with the transatlantic slave trade, but thousands of years of history that leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. August 20th, 2019 marked the 400th year anniversary of those 20 and odd Africans or 20 and odd Negroes who came into Point Comfort on August 20th, 1619 on the White Lion pirate ship, the White Lion English pirate ship, in what would later be called the colony of Virginia. So this was known as the year of return, and many African Americans were reconnecting and are reconnecting to Africa and traveling to Ghana and other West African countries. When we discuss the transatlantic slave trade, we have to first understand that African people are the original people of North, Central, and South America and have been in the land that we call the United States of America at least 51,700 years. And we look at some of the information from Dr. David Imhotep, author of the book, The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence. And he's a friend of mine. I've interviewed him probably 13, 14 times or so. And his book is groundbreaking, and he stands on the shoulders of Dr. Ivy Van Sertima, who wrote the book, They Came Before Columbus, which came out originally in 1976. Okay, so some of the things we deal with in the class are the 800-year occupation of Europe by the Africans known as the Moors, shocking archaeological discoveries that are causing experts to rethink everything. We look at a number of different archaeological discoveries that have come out in the past 11 years or so. And when these discoveries come out, they're causing the scientists and archaeologists and paleontologists, et cetera, to rethink everything. And they realize that a lot of this, what's around us and a lot of these artifacts, civilizations, things like this are much older than they originally thought. So they have to keep pushing the timelines back. We look at insurance companies that took out insurance policies on slave ships and enslaved Africans on the plantations. Most recently, we see the fantastic research from the New York Times, which deals with Haiti and the history of Haiti and why Haiti is so impoverished. And it deals with Haiti having to pay a debt to France, $560 million. In today's dollars, $560 million, but it had the effect of Haiti losing 21 billion to about 115 billion or so over the course of the 64 years that they paid the debt. So I did a separate presentation on that, but we deal with some of that information in the classes that I teach also. This huge article here from the New York Times, The Ransom Demanding Reparations and Ending Up in Exile, deals with some of this information. This is from May 20th, 2022, May 20th, 2022. And then also they'll have another good article in that series called Six Takeaways about Haiti's reparations to France. 6 takeaways about Haiti's reparations to France. And this is in the Ransom series. How did the modern world's most successful slave revolt give birth to a desperately poor nation? Here's a summary of what a team of New York Times correspondents found out. Okay, so this is from May 20th, 2022. So you can check this out as well. So we deal with some of this type of information in the class. And then also, the Louisiana Purchase, the Haitian Revolution, things like that, especially in the second class that I teach, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement of Black Power, 1865 to 1968. So we deal with shocking archaeological discoveries that are causing experts to rethink everything, how insurance companies took out insurance policies on slave ships, as well as enslaved Africans on the plantations, Freemasonry, America and the Founding Fathers, origins of the terms America, Africa, and a lot more. Okay, so that's just a little sample of some of the things that we deal with in the class. When we look at some of the work here from Dr. David Imhotep, and we look at a number of different archaeological discoveries, like the one in Morocco from 2017 that pushes the oldest known fossils of modern man, Homo sapiens, pushes it back 300,000, 350,000 years ago, as opposed to 195,000 years ago in Ethiopia. Dr. David Imhotep wrote the book, The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence. It first came out in 2011. He just released in late 2021 an updated book, The First Americans Were Africans, revised and expanded, has about 200 additional pages of new research and things like this. But his book deals with the African presence in North, Central, and South America, going back at least 56,000 years ago. In North America, the land that today we call the United States of America, going back at least 51,700 years ago. Page 14 of his book, he deals with a discovery from Dr. Albert Goodyear, who's an archaeologist at the University of South Carolina. And they found in 2004, they made this discovery. They found artifacts, architecture, campsites, carvings, Egyptian writings, footprints in lava, genetic M174D haploid groups dealing with DNA and genetics. And they found linguistics, paintings, skulls, skeletons, structures, and tools. They found 13 different types of evidence, fairly documenting in the African presence in the land we call the United States of America, going back at least 51,700 years ago. And these were the Khoisan. The Khoisan have the oldest DNA on the planet. They're the ancestors to the Ainu and the Twa. They go all around the world, and they were here in the land we call the United States also, before it was called the United States, of course. So here's a picture of Dr. Albert Goodyear, and we reference him in the class of some different archaeological discoveries that he's commented on. There's an article from ScienceDaily.com, called New Evidence Puts Man in North America 50,000 years ago. New evidence puts man in North America 50,000 years ago. Okay. And this deals with this discovery. And what they found, now this is a summary from ScienceDaily.com. The article is still there. You can go and read it now. ScienceDaily.com is a scientific website. They have scientific discoveries, breakthroughs, archaeological discoveries, things of this nature. So here's a summary of what the article says regarding this discovery. Radiocarbon tests of carbonized plant remains were where artifacts were unearthed last May along the Savannah River in Allendale County by University of South Carolina archaeologist Dr. Albert Goodyear indicate that the sediments containing these artifacts are at least 51,000 or at least 50,000 years old, meaning that humans inhabited North America long before the last ice age. Humans inhabited North America long before the last ice age. So they're talking about the Khoisan. Okay. Now, give us a thumbs up, give us a heart, give us a like if you like this broadcast. Be sure to register for this online history class also. You can use this information with your children as well. I would say the information is PG-13. So we have how you can register right in the thread of the broadcast. As soon as you register this content, you can start watching. You can join us in class this Saturday. Next class is Saturday, June 4th, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So the Koisan, in October 2012 genetic study published in Science magazine, which is another scientific magazine that have archaeological discoveries, things like this. In Science magazine found that the Khoisan in Southern Africa are the oldest ethnic group of modern humans, with their ancestral line originating about 100,000 years ago. The Khoisan, formerly called by the derogatory term Bushmen, are genetically unique, and no other currently known population had separated so early from our common modern human ancestor, according to the report. You may also hear them referred to derogatorily as pygmies. Okay, these are the Khoisan. That's a derogatory term. And they're the ancestors to the Ainu and the Twa. Here's some Khoisan women here. So the Khoisan live mainly in Southern Africa in territory spanning Botswana, Namibia, Angola, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. They are largely divided into two groups, hunters and gatherers. The Sans people, hunters and gatherers, and keepers of livestock, the Khoi people. The Khoisan languages include the distinctive click sounds that are not found in the languages of their neighbors. AtlantaBlackStar.com is a good article dealing with some of this type of information. 5 ethnic groups that prove the first humans were black. Okay. We deal with also the people, the Africans on the Andaman Islands as well, the Jarawa, also who are believed to have lived in their Indian Ocean home for up to 55,000 years. Similar in appearance to the so-called African pygmies, short, dark skin with peppercorn hair and large buttocks, Stetopigia. The Andamanese are direct descendants of the first modern humans to have inhabited Asia, according to a 2002 Stanford University study. They probably left Northeast Africa by boat over 50,000 years ago and traveled along the coastlines of the Arabian Peninsula in India. Okay, so here's Dr. David Imhotep was interviewed by WKRP in Cincinnati, Channel 5, back in 2011 when this book came out. So I'll show you that excerpt of that interview in the class. So one of the archaeological discoveries that we deal with came out in February 2010, and this was a huge discovery. And And we know at least 130,000 years of our history has been stolen. This is something Runoko Rashidi has talked about, and Dr. Charles Finch. And we use a couple of Runoko's books in the class for reference as well. You don't have to buy any of these books, but we use them for reference. So on Crete, new evidence of very ancient mariners. On Crete, new evidence of very ancient mariners. February 15th, 2010, this article came out from the New York Times. Okay, it was in their science section. And this deals with the discovery that was made over the course of 2 summers. Over the course of 2 summers, stone tools were found on the Greek island of Crete over the course of 2 summers. Archaeologists say are at least 130,000 years old, which is considered strong evidence for the earliest known seafaring in the Mediterranean and calls for rethinking the maritime capabilities of pre-human cultures. Now, Crete has been an island for more than 5 million years, meaning that the tool makers must have arrived by boat. Crete has been an island for more than 5 million years, meaning that the tool makers must have arrived by boat. So this seems to push the history of Mediterranean voyaging back more than 100,000 years, specialists in stone tool archaeology say. Previous artifact discoveries had shown people reaching Cyprus, a few other Greek islands, and possibly Sardinia no earlier than 10,000 to 12,000 years ago. So as these archaeological discoveries come out, and it's a number of them we deal with in the class, and there's over 50 articles that we deal with in the class. There's over 200 slides in this course. We have book references, articles, video clips. You will never look at history the same way after you take this class. I've been teaching this class on and off since 2017, and the class has grown exponentially since 2017. Okay, it's grown exponentially since 2017. All right, so I've been teaching this class on and off since 2017, and it's grown exponentially since then. Now, if you've taken any of my online history classes in the past, also email me at ahnshow@africanhistorynetwork.com because you get a 50% discount on the class. So I teach this class Saturdays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. So the class is on sale now, $60, regularly $130. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch it anytime. And we also have a course bundle, a special course bundle for a limited time only until June 4th. You get the 3 online classes I teach. You'll get 15 of my lectures as a bundle pack, 15 of my lectures in digital format that you can watch also when you log into the class. And you'll also get a DVD copy of the new documentary Heavy is the Crown in the Out of Darkness series. So we have these in stock. So it's a limited time only while we have these in stock from director Amadeus Christ. This deals with the African origins of the major world religions. This documentary featuring Professor James Small, Professor Kaba Kamene, who are 2 of my teachers, Tony Browder, and others. So for a limited time only, this offer is going to June 4th while supplies last. So we have these in stock now, and while supplies last, this is part of the bundle pack. Okay, and this bundle is on sale for $100. So you get the 2 classes. Okay, you get actually 3 classes in the bundle. You get the 3 classes. You get my bonus lectures as well in digital format. And you'll get the Heavy is the Crown documentary. And that promotion is going on till June 4th while supplies last. Once we run out, you won't get the documentary. You'll still get a discount on the bundle, but you won't get the documentary. Okay. So if you have any questions, also email us at ahnshow@africanhistorynetwork.com, ahnshow@africanhistorynetwork.com. Okay. Now the bundle that you get is a 15 lecture bundle, and it's in digital format, so you can go in and watch the videos. It's a it's this bundle pack right here that you get, the Michael Imhotep Black History Month 15 DVD bundle pack. This includes 15 of my lectures. It's $100 value. Actually, it's more than $100 value. 15 of my lectures over the past few years I've done. So you get, including my Juneteenth lecture. I have a lecture that's almost 3 hours dealing with the history of Juneteenth. You get my Black Panther lecture. So it's a ton of things that you get here. So we have all that bundled for $100. So as soon as you register, you can start watching the content right away, and you can watch from around the world. Okay, so that's for a limited time only. That's that full promotion, that full bundle expires June 4th, 2022. Okay, so let's continue. Also, you can use this class with your children. I would say the content is PG-13. Okay, it's not overly graphic. I don't do a lot of cursing, things like that. All right, so they found stone tools on the Greek island of Crete that date back at least 130,000 years ago. Now, even more intriguing, the archaeologists who found the tools on Crete noted that the style of the hand axes suggested that they could be up to 700,000 years old. Now, that may be a stretch, the archaeologists conceded, but the tools resemble artifacts from the stone technology known as Eschulen, which originated with pre-human populations in Africa 1.5 million to 150,000 years ago. Okay, so once again, the deeper they dig, the blacker the planet gets, the more research they do, the older we get. Now, more than 2,000 stone artifacts, including the hand axes, were collected on the southwestern shore of Crete. So this was not one or two artifacts that they found. Okay, this was over the course of 2 summers, and they found more than 2,000 stone artifacts, including the hand axes. So once again, these artifacts that they found are at least 130,000 years old. Okay, so we know at least 130,000 years of our history has been stolen, and you've had a lot of our scholars saying for years that Homo sapiens, modern man, are at least 300,000 years old, not 75,000 to 100,000 years old. Okay, and when we see archaeological discoveries like this, and then also the one from Morocco from June 2017, this helps confirm that. So the deeper they dig, the blacker the planet gets, the more research they do, the older we get. Now, this discovery right here, the lost city of Egypt, and I talked about this back in 2013 when this information came out, the lost city of Egypt called Tanis Heraklion. And before the actual archaeological evidence was found, Tanis Heraklion just existed on paper. Okay, it was thought just to be like a mythological city. So there was a lot of articles written back at this time in 2013, April 2013. Yahoo News has an article they picked up from the Telegraph. The BBC has articles on this. So we look at some of these different articles in the class. Sunken Egyptian city reveals 1,200-year-old secrets. This is from April 30th, 2013 from Yahoo News. Sunken Egyptian city reveals 1,200-year-old secrets. The Telegraph reports that 150 feet beneath the surface of Egypt's Bay of Abu Qir, they found 64 ships, 16-foot tall statues, 700 anchors for like ships, 700 anchors, countless gold coins, and smaller artifacts. Archaeologist Frank Gaudillo estimates Tanis Heraklion was built around 8th century BC or BCE, before the Common Era. So here are some pictures of what they found at the bottom of the bottom of the sea. They found these 16-foot tall statues. Here's one with the legs broken off. Here's one that's probably from Offset with the horns and the sun disk. Okay. So now this other archaeological discovery right here, the lost city of Egypt, the lost city of Kemet, that was a recent archaeological discovery as well. Okay, NBC News has some information on that one. So we deal with the history of the Moors, with some of the history of the Moors as well, and the 800-year occupation of Europe by the Africans known as the Moors. And we deal with Freemasonry, the layout of how the layout of Washington, D.C. is a copy of ancient Kemet, how this land was called Egypt of the West by the founding fathers. And we look at the relationship between Freemasonry and ancient Kemet. And you're dealing with the watered down teachings from ancient Egypt, from the coming out of the lodges, coming from the mystery system, that are incorporated into Freemasonry. And here we see the Tekken, which the Greeks called an obelisk. And we know there are approximately 1,200 Tekkenu for plural, in ancient Kemet. And this is a symbol of resurrection coming from the mythology of Asar, Aset, and Heru, who the Greeks called Osiris, Isis, and Horus. And the Washington Monument is a Tekken also. Okay. The Washington Monument, we know George Washington was a Freemason. The Washington Monument is a Tekken, it's 555 feet tall. There was a good article that from face-to-faceafrica.com that deals with the Tekkens and the Tekkenu in London and New York City and Paris, France, because these Tekkenu or Tekkens were taken throughout the world. Ancient Egyptians, ancient Kemetic people call obelisk Tekkenu, and they were also used to tell time in the past. Their pinnacles were basically covered in gold to reflect the sunlight. Historians say obelisks represented immortality and eternity. When you go to graveyards, you'll see those stone structures. You'll see obelisks in graveyards also. Historians say the obelisk represented immortality and eternity, and their long structure helped connect the heavens and the earth. Their long structure helped connect the heavens and the earth. Currently, Cleopatra's Needle is the name given to 3 ancient Egyptian obelisks, or Tekkenu, one in New York City, one in London, and one in Paris, France. However, they do not all come from one Egyptian site. The obelisks in New York and London are carved out of red granite from the quarries of Aswan, a major source of stone for Egyptian antiquities. The 2 obelisks were commissioned by Nesubiti or Pharaoh Thutmose III for the Temple of the Sun in Heliopolis near modern-day Cairo, with each weighing about 224 tons and 68 feet tall. So face-to-faceafrica.com is a good article from March 17th, 2022, and we've posted it on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network. So if you don't follow us there, be sure to follow us there on Facebook, turn on live notifications so you know when we go live also. Cleopatra's Needle, how 3 ancient Egyptian obelisks ended up in New York City, London, and Paris. So we see our history is all around us. This is why we have to become history detectives to decode this history. Our history is all around us. The layout of Washington, D.C. is a copy of the layout of ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt. We know in Meridian Park there's a Ankh. There's a waterfall in the shape of an Ankh, the African symbol of eternal life. So our history is all around us. We have to become history detectives to be able to decode these symbols. And there's actually a symbol encyclopedia or symbol dictionary that I use. And let me see if I can grab it right here. This one right here. So I'll reference this sometimes in the class. Signs and Symbols, an illustrated guide to their origins and meanings. Signs and Symbols, an illustrated guide to their origins and meanings. Okay, so this is a symbols encyclopedia or symbols dictionary. And when you look at it, as soon as you open it, okay, the first page, you see ancient Africa. You see ancient Kemet. This is Heru in the form of a falcon who was born on December 25th to the Virgin Aset, okay, who the Greeks call Isis. Signs and Symbols, and we see different symbols from the metal netter here. The Greeks call it the hieroglyphics, okay, the script of in the language of the ancient Egyptians, ancient Kemetic people. We see it on the back as well. And then we see in the middle right here, you see an Ankh, okay, the African symbol for eternal life, or the African key of life. And it says, decode the secrets and uncover the origins and meanings of over 2,000 signs and symbols from ancient hieroglyphs to modern day logos. It says that right on the back. So you got Africa on the front and the back. And when you first open up the page, the first thing you see is Africa. Ancient Kemet. Okay. All right. So this is from Covenant Garden Books, it looks like. Yeah, Covent Garden Books, Signs and Symbols. So this was about 10, how much? This is something like $10 or something when I got it. $10, $15 when I got this. I got this from Barnes and I think it was Barnes and Nobles or Borders Books, one of them. I got this years ago. I got this in August of 2011. I got that in August of 2011. Okay, let's continue. How y'all like this type of information? Give us a thumbs up. Give us a heart. Give us a like on this broadcast. Share this broadcast on your social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in as well. Be sure to register for this 10-week online class that I teach. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa. Understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. So we have the information here in the thread of the broadcast. Also, it's at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We have the information there. And if you have any questions, you can also email me at ahnshow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Okay, but we have the information right on the homepage of our website, and it's in the thread of this broadcast as well. And you can inbox us here on Facebook or YouTube if you have any questions. Okay, let's continue. So here is a famous statue of Asar, Aset, and Heru, who the Greeks called Osiris, Isis, and Horus. And they're known as the First Holy Trinity. The First Holy Trinity. And the Tekken comes from the story of Asar being cut up into 14 pieces by his brother Set, and Aset, his wife, recovers 13 of the pieces. The 14th piece is missing, the phallus. So she erects the Tekken, which is a symbol of the phallus that's missing, but it's a symbol of resurrection. So there were approximately 1,200 Tekkenu built in ancient Kemet, but only about a dozen are found in Egypt today. Okay, somewhere between some sources will say less than 12. Some sources will say about 7 or so. Somewhere between 7 to 12. Many of the Tekkenu removed from Egypt are now in Istanbul, Turkey, London, England, Paris, France, Berlin, Germany, New York, New York City, Rome, Italy, Vatican City, and elsewhere throughout the world. So people will see these and not know that it's from Africa, either physically taken from Africa or that symbol originally comes from Africa. And they're just associated with wherever it is. Okay. They're just associated with wherever it is. Yeah, they're stolen. But they won't associate with the Nile Valley region of Africa. They won't associate it with African people. So the Tekkenu are now called obelisks by their new owners, and few know their origin or that they symbolize the resurrection of the African king Asar. So if you read Egypt on the Potomac by Tony Browder, and that's one of the books we reference in the class. So you don't have to buy any of these books to be able to follow along in class. But if you want to have them for your library, you can do that. These are good books to use with your children also. So here's Egypt on the Potomac by Tony Browder. It's a fantastic book. It's 72 pages. But this book will blow you away. Okay, Egypt on the Potomac. So check out page 17 of Egypt on the Potomac. All right, now Freemasonry. The word Mason is derived from the Latin words mass and sun. Mason means child of light and expresses the desire to pursue light, which is a metaphor for the sun, which symbolizes knowledge. The term child of light or sons and daughters of light was first used to identify students who had completed 42 years of study in the temples of ancient Kemet, okay, who had completed 42 years of study in the temples of ancient Kemet. Many Masonic temples were modeled after the temples of ancient Kemet, places where light or knowledge was imparted in a series of steps or degrees. So, the concept of the liberal arts colleges, the concept of going to college and getting your credentials in a series of degrees, associate's degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree, philosophy degree, PhD, what have you, that comes out of ancient Kemet. That comes from the Nile Valley region of Africa. When you read Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James, here's a copy of it right here. When you read Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James, Greek philosophy is stolen Egyptian philosophy. Okay, this is an old copy that I got December 8th, 1993, when I was in college. Okay, so he talks about how he talks about the 7 liberal arts, the arithmetic, the logic, the rhetoric, things like this, the trivium and the quadrivium. And he also talks about how the Moors were the custodians of the ancient Egyptian mystery system as well. And they're going to take these teachings into Europe. So in ancient times, we know that, and even today, we know that light is associated with knowledge. Light is associated with knowledge. And the African Moors are taking the light, the knowledge from ancient Kemet, from ancient Africa. They're taking it into Europe during the Dark Ages. So the western portion of the Roman Empire is crushed by the Vandals and the Visigoths in 476 AD. And Europe is cast into this period of hundreds of years of ignorance and civil wars and things like this, known as the Dark Ages. When you watch cartoons, okay, if you watch cartoons, you'll see a cartoon character gets an idea. It may be Doc McStuffins or Tom and Jerry or Woody Woodpecker or whatever it is, Dora the Explorer or Paw Patrol. But the cartoon character gets an idea and you'll see a light bulb go off over their head. Light associated with knowledge. Okay. If you have a child who's in class that's not smart, that child may be referred to as a dim-witted child. Lack of light, dim. Okay. So the term child of light or sons and daughters of light was first used to identify students who had completed 42 years of study in the temples of ancient Kemet. So check out pages 18 and 32 of Egypt on the Potomac by Tony Browder. Fantastic book. Now, Masonic temples are considered houses of light or temples of learning. They were also referred to as the Per Ankh, house of life. The term Mason, child of light, is a direct reference to the highest degree of the Kemetic education system. The 33 degrees of instruction within Masonry represent a fraction of the 360 degrees of instruction that comprise the ancient Kemetic system of education. Yet with less than 10% of the wisdom of ancient Kemet, Freemasons have held positions of influence and power throughout the world for over 200 years. All right, now, 50 of the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence were also Freemasons, and 13 of 39 signers of the U.S. Constitution were Freemasons as well. Okay, so we deal with, of course, Set and Asar and Heru, different things like this. We'll talk about some of the different Neteru as well. We know Set, first queen of Kemet, first queen of Egypt in the mythology, mother of Heru. Heru was born on December 25th, and it was a virgin birth. And we know from Set, we get the Set and Heru, we get the Black Madonna Child that was worshipped all throughout Europe, even before the Moors go in 711 AD, Europeans are worshiping African people. And then from the Black Madonna and Child, we get the decolorized version. We get the white Mary and Jesus. And as we see, as you have a rise, as European nations are starting to conquer other people's land, extract the mineral wealth out of that land, enslave people, and build Europe back up, because Europe was devastated by the bubonic plague, the Black Death, that hits in 1347 to 1400. Europe loses 1/4 to 1/3 of their population. Europe, as Dr. John Henry Clark said, Europe was land poor, people poor, and resource poor. Europe is trying to rebuild itself. They're dealing with civil wars and things like this, and famine, etc. As Europe starts to rebuild itself and become powerful, you start seeing a rise, and they're coming out of the Dark Ages, going to the early 1400s, going into the 1500s. You start seeing a rise in the European phenotype. As you start seeing a rise in European powers, you start seeing a rise in the European phenotype, and traditional African images get reinterpreted as European. Okay, so you see Michelangelo paint the Sistine Chapel and use his aunt and uncle as the model for Adam and Eve, and he paints God as being European, and paints the angels as European, things like this. This book right here by Runoko Rashidi, this is one that we use in the class. Okay, so how's everybody doing? How you all like this type of information? Give us a thumbs up, give us a heart, post here, let us know if you like this type of information, if you want to learn more. This book right here, Black Star, the African Presence in Early Europe. Runoko Rashidi, he was a brilliant historian, archaeologist. I knew Runoko. He's a friend of mine. I interviewed Runoko, I think it's about 6 times I interviewed him. I interviewed him back in 2014 when I think I interviewed him when his book came out. So I got this book November 4th, 2011. And I interviewed him somewhere around that time about this book, Black Star, the African Presence in Early Europe, by Runoko Rashidi, prefaced by Robin Walker, forward by Dr. Charles Finch. Robin Walker is another brilliant historian, so is Dr. Charles Finch. But Runoko was a world traveler, so he traveled to over 125 islands and countries and islands around the world. He had a personal library of photographs that he took. There's about probably 35,000, 40,000 photographs, something like that. But in here, he has photographs that he took all around the world, documenting the African presence throughout Europe. Okay, and you see page 90 and 91. You see pictures of the Black Madonna and Child. You see it in Switzerland. Okay, you see it in Saskatchewan, Poland. Okay, paintings and statues of the Black Madonna and Child. You see it, this one here, this is a famous one, Black Virgin and Child statue in St. John's Church, Luxembourg City, Luxembourg, right here. You see it, the Black Virgin of Madrid, Spain. This is in Spain, where the Moors go in. Okay, so these Europeans were worshiping African people. This one right here is the national flag of Sardinia, which is an Italian island in the Mediterranean, national flag of Sardinia. It has 4 African Moors heads on the national flag. This right here is the coat of arms of Pope Benedict XVI with the head of a Moorish king on it. Because a lot of these Europeans also had Moorish ancestry as well. Okay, because the Moors were intermixing into the population, into the European population. So you're going to have a lot of Europeans that have some type of Moorish ancestry also, and they would have it in their coat of arms. They would have the name of a Moor, a Moor's head, something that signified some type of Moorish ancestry. Moorish nobles in Spain playing chess with a black servant and a white servant from the chess book of Alfonso the Wise. This right here. Okay, Moors playing chess. So this is a deep book. Now this one right here, page 89, okay, Our Lady of Pilar, Gothic Cathedral. This is in France. Black Madonna Child. Okay, then you have the Black Virgin of Paris, Black Madonna Child also. And then this one here, this is in Spain as well, Montserrat, Spain. This statue also, Black Madonna Child. They were basically worshiping African people. And then what's crazy is that they were worshiping, Europeans were worshiping the Black Madonna Child. But then today, you still have some African Americans that worship a white Mary and Jesus, or believes Jesus is white or God is white or something. It's just backwards. It's just totally backwards. Okay, let's continue. So, and I remember in the 1970s, late 1970s, when the Shazam and Isis hour used to come on Saturday mornings. It was like 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturday mornings. The Shazam and Isis hour is a live action TV show on CBS. And I used to watch it when I was a kid. And they showed us this white woman named Isis. And she could fly through the air. She had these magical powers. She was super smart, things like this. And they said that she got her powers from ancient Egypt. But they didn't tell us that Isis was an African woman. They showed us this white woman here, and they didn't tell us this was a copy from Bastet, okay, who comes out of ancient Africa. They didn't even tell us, you know, in the show. I don't even remember them saying that the ancient Egyptians were African people, were like black African people, not brown skinned Caucasians, but like black African people. So this is why I say, will the real ISIS please stand up? This is more of the theft, the cultural appropriation. Okay, so we deal with different Neteru as well to better understand this also. Here we have Heramakhet, Heru on the horizon, who the Greeks call the Sphinx, what the Greeks call the Sphinx. When we look at patron saints, and a lot of your early African saints, a lot of your early Christian saints are going to be Africans. But when we look at patron saints take the place of the Neteru. The Neteru are dealing with the different forces of nature, the different manifestations of that one creative principle of the supreme force. Many of them are helpers of Amun-Ra, helpers of God, helpers of the supreme being. Okay. And they have different attributes, and different Neteru watch over different groups of people, or watch over different cities, I should say, watch over different cities and have different attributes. When you look at Auset was associated with love and fertility. When you look at Ma'at was the personification of truth, justice, righteousness, balance, harmony, order, and reciprocity. And you deal with the 42 laws of Ma'at, or the 42 negative confessions, which are a precursor to the 10 commandments. And Ma'at was depicted as a female a female deity with wings, and she had an ostrich feather in her headband. And you have the famous scene, the judgment scene. So when you die, your heart was weighed against the feather of Ma'at. Your heart was weighed against the essence of a woman on the scales of Ma'at. Okay, that's the judgment scene. But when we look at the saints are going to replace the Neteru, because the saints have different attributes as well. You have what are called patron saints, and patron saints watch over different groups of people. So when we look at Saint Nicholas, who is the saint that the secular character of Santa Claus comes from, and Santa Claus, well, Sinterklaas in Dutch means Saint Nicholas. Okay, Sinterklaas in Dutch means Saint Nicholas. And Santa Claus is derived from the religious figure, Father Christmas Center class coming from the Dutch, but that comes from the real Saint Nicholas. So Saint Nicholas was a Greek Orthodox bishop born in Myra, present-day Turkey, about 280 AD, Common Era. Born to wealthy parents and gave away his inheritance to the poor. He was a patron saint to children, seamen, prostitutes, and pawnbrokers. He was he was said to watch over these groups of people. Okay, patron saint. Okay, and he was the patron saint to children, seamen, prostitutes, pawnbrokers. If you read the book Christmas Miscellany by Jonathan Green, page 40, 63, and 64, he has some information there on Saint Nicholas and the legends of Saint Nicholas. Let me see, that book is right here. So this is a good book dealing with the history of Christmas, the origins of Christmas, and the history behind Christmas. Christmas Miscellany, everything you always wanted to know about Christmas by Jonathan Green. And he deals with the mythology of Saint Nicholas also. Okay. But Saint Nicholas was African, was an African saint. When you look at older statues and paintings of Saint Nicholas, he has more Africoid features. So what is a patron saint? A patron saint is a saint to which to whose protection and intercession a person, society, church, place, profession, or activity is dedicated. The choice is usually made on the basis of some real or presumed relationship, like St. Patrick is a patron saint to Ireland because he's credited with introducing Christianity, even though you had someone who went in the year before in 431 AD who was sent in to convert the Irish to Christianity. St. Patrick gets that credit. St. Patrick was a mass murderer also. You can watch the 2-hour presentation I did in March of 2022, right around St. Patrick's Day, where I deal with St. Patrick and history of St. Patrick and why St. Patrick was a mass murderer. Because he was killing the Druids, and the Druids were dealing with a watered down version of the teachings coming out of Ancient Kemet, out of ancient Egypt. We deal with that in the class also. So St. Maurice, who was a Moor, St. Maurice is the saint, patron saint of Germany. St. Patrick's patron saint of Ireland. St. Nicholas was a patron saint of Amsterdam and Russia. St. Benedict the Moor, patron saint of Palermo and San Fratello, Sicily. He was also called Il Moro, which is Italian for dark skin, and he was also called the African and the Black as well. All right, now, so these are just some of the a few things that we deal with in the class. We look at things like evidence that proves that African people sailed to the Americas long before Columbus. We know that there were American narcotics discovered in Egyptian mummies. The discovery of American narcotics in Egyptian mummies has left some historians amazed. Recently, archaeologists discovered the presence of narcotics only known to be derived from American plants in ancient Egyptian mummies. These substances included South American cocaine from ethoxylin and nicotine. German toxicologist Balabanova reported the findings, which suggests that such compounds made their way to Africa through transatlantic trade that would predate Christopher Columbus' arrival by thousands of years. Okay, so we deal with a number of different archaeological discoveries as well. We look at things like why is Christmas celebrated on December 25th, which gets into the winter solstice and understanding astronomy and astrotheology, etc. This was a book I saw back in 2011 at CVS Pharmacy, The Life of Christ from the American Bible Society. And I bought the book because of what's on page 55. On page 55, they asked the question, why December 25th? Now, what I say may go outside the circumference of some people's awareness. Just because you disagree with it or don't like it does not mean it's not true. Just means you have to do some research to understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so they asked the question, why December 25th? Why is Yeshua or Jesus' birthday said to be on December 25th? Nowhere in the biblical text does it state that Jesus or Yeshua was born on December 25th. And we know the letter J did not exist until 1630 AD. The letter J is derived from the letter I. When you look up the word Jesus in the dictionary, it takes you back to Yeshua, which is Hebrew. So it says, here it's a little hard to make out, but I try to blow it up as much as possible. It says, in Christianity's early years, people debated when Jesus' birthday should be celebrated. Some Christians were against observing Jesus' birthday at all, as they did not want Jesus or Yeshua compared to Pharaoh and Herod. Now, which Pharaoh are you talking about? Pharaoh is a title, not a name. Which Pharaoh are you talking about? And these people's birthdays were commemorated. Okay, but in the 4th century Common Era AD, Pope Julius I made it official. Christ's birth would be celebrated on December 25th. Now, December 25th was already considered the birthday of the sun, the S-U-N, not the S-O-N, but the S-U-N. Using the technology available at the time, ancient astronomers observed that on December 25th, the days started getting longer again. They recognized the date as the winter solstice. The winter solstice, when the sun is born, when the sun is born again each year. So the sun goes throughout the 12 constellations on its annual voyage. And on December 20th or December 21st, the sun moves into its lowest position. Okay. It moves to its lowest position, and it's in Capricorn. Okay. The constellation of Capricorn. Then on from December 22nd, 23rd, 24th, it appears that the sun does not move. Okay. It appears the sun is dead or stands still. In December 25th, the sun moves 1 degree northward. Okay. It moves 1 degree northward. And starting on December 25th and each subsequent day, you have an increase in the amount of sunlight. Okay. So in ancient times, it was said that the Son of God, not the S-O-N, but the S-U-N, was born again on or around December 25th. It's the rebirth of the sun. Okay. So that is right around the winter solstice. So the Romans celebrated the birthday of the deity or god Sol Invictus, S-O-L. The prefix Sol means sun. Sol Invictus means unconquered sun. They celebrated this on December 25th. The day was also recognized as the birthday of Mithra, the sun deity or sun god of the ancient Persians, and as the birthday of Attis, an agricultural deity worshipped in Asia Minor. By choosing December 25th, the church avoided upsetting the masses. By choosing December 25th, the church avoided upsetting the masses. No one wanted their festivals canceled, so the church simply combined this new Christian holiday with pagan traditions. The church just simply combined this new holiday with pagan traditions. And you're going to see this especially as the Romans are conquering other people's land, you're going to see them incorporating traditions from the people that they're conquering, incorporating this into their own traditions and incorporating this into Christianity also. We look at pre-Christian origins of Christmas and ancient holidays. Yule. Yule was a Scandinavian celebration amongst the Nordic people of the Norse from December 21st through the end of the year. So you'll hear in the Christmas carols, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir. Okay, what is Yule? Y-U-L-E. That was celebrated in Scandinavia. That was celebrated by Europeans in Scandinavia. Yule, and you learn about festivals of Odin, German festival of the pagan god Odin, who was known as the king of the gods, father of Thor. Okay, Thor and Loki. Midwinter holiday, the Festival of Saturnalia, which is a Roman festival in honor of the Roman agricultural deity Saturn. Okay, celebrated December 17th through December 25th. The Festival of Saturnalia, yeah, the Festival of Mithra, ancient festival in honor of the Persian sun deity, from December 25th through January the 1st, also celebrated by the Roman elite. So as you go do more research and study this history, and we look at all this in the class, as you go through and look at this, what you're going to see is that you had the various cultures, you had these different deities whose birthday and celebrations was on or around December 25th. If you read Christianity Before Christ by Dr. John G. Jackson, he breaks this down in the book, and this deals with astronomy and all this, the winter solstice, everything. Christianity Before Christ by Dr. John G. Jackson. This is an old copy I got back in 1994. But this is another book that we use in the class as well. Okay. I got this December 31st, 1994. Okay, how y'all like this type of information? Give us a thumbs up, give us a heart, give us a like. You can register for this class right now. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. The class is discounted. So it's on sale right now, $60 for very limited time only. It's regularly $130, so it's over 50% off. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch this class anytime, even after the course is over with, a year from now, 2 years from now. You'll still have full access. You can go back and watch the class. I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips, etc. We have the information here in the thread of the broadcast. It's also at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We have a course bundle where you get all three of my classes, and you get some bonus lectures from me also in digital format. We have a course bundle on sale for $100. The sale is going on to June 4th, 2022, limited time only. So you'll get this class, and you'll also get my Sunday class, which is from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. So we look at history starting in 1803 with the Louisiana Purchase and the Haitian Revolution, and we look at history chronologically. We look and see what leads up to the Civil War taking place 1861, 1865, Reconstruction era 1865, 1877, Jim Crow era, Great Migration 1915, 1970, World War I, 1914, 1918, World War II, 1939, 1945, Civil Rights Movement, Black Power movement. So we look at history chronologically to see what happened to us after slavery ended, and what were the laws and policies put in place to put us in the predicament we're in today, to understand how we got here, to better understand where we need to go from here. Okay, so that's the class I teach on Sundays. Same format, PowerPoint presentation, book references, articles. You can register for that separately or in the bundle. The bundle is $100, and you can watch from around the world. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. So as soon as you register this archive content, you can start watching. You can join us in class live Saturday and Sunday for these classes as well. If you've taken any of my online classes in the past, I've been teaching Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade going back to 2017. And the second one, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement, I put that curriculum together, and I started teaching that in late 2021. If you've taken any of my online classes in the past, email me at ahnshow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You'll get a 50% discount. Email me at ahnshow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You get a 50% discount. Also, if you want to pay for the class through Cash App, we can do it through Cash App as well. Just email me and we'll set that up through Cash App. Now with the bundle, you also get the bonus of 15 of my lectures. We have they'll be in digital format, but it's this bundle pack that you get from me. 15 of my lectures, that's a bonus. Okay, that's $100 value. So when you log in, you'll be able to watch these lectures also. And some of the lectures that are included, you can order this bundle separately on DVD if you want to, but you'll get this included in digital format in the class. Some of the lectures that you get, these are all lectures I've done. I have like 45 of my lectures on DVD. You'll get my lecture, 3-hour lecture dealing with the film Black Panther analysis, African culture, history, and Afrofuturism. We also talk about the film Black Panther in the class, but this deals with how the film Black Panther relates to African history, culture, language, spiritual systems. The language in the film Black Panther is Khoisan, which is a Bantu language. It's spoken in Southern Africa. It's a real African language. Okay, so you'll get that. You'll get this one here dealing with the origins of Black History Month, and Dr. Carter G. Woodson, Breaking the Chains, why we celebrate African American History Month. So we deal with a lot of history there. You'll get this one here. The distortion of the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the revolutionary, will not be televised on the television. So I deal with the revolutionary Dr. King. I also have one on Malcolm X. Malcolm X, 50 years later, why is he still relevant? You get this one here, 13 Forms of Wealth, and Redistributing the Pain, Keys to Economic Empowerment and Entrepreneurship for African Americans, because I taught entrepreneurship for 7 years. You'll get this double lecture I did with Dr. David Imhotep. We did this lecture here in Detroit back in 2013. The first Americans were Africans, documented evidence. He dealt with that topic, and I dealt with great African women in history, the mothers of civilization. You'll get this one here also, Redistributing the Pain, how African Americans historically fought back with economic boycott. So this is a 4-hour presentation that I did that documents different types of economic boycotts and different types of economic withdrawal strategies that we've had. You'll get Ancient Kemet, the Winter Solstice, and the History of Christmas. This is a 3-hour presentation. I deal with the pre-Christian origins of the celebration of Christmas. It deals with a lot of history. So those are just a few of the presentations in the bundle pack that you'll get as a bonus in digital format. Also, this lecture here, African American resistance in the era of Donald Trump, voter suppression, reparations, and how elections have consequences. And this information here, people knew this prior to the 2016 election, Donald Trump would have lost. So I deal with how the election of Donald Trump was a backlash to 2 terms of President Barack Obama and the Black Lives Matter movement, how Donald Trump was a throwback to Richard Nixon. And Richard Nixon, when he won in 1968, he won on the platform of law and order. And Richard Nixon was a backlash to the civil rights movement and the Black Power movement. He was a backlash to the rebellions taking place throughout the country, things like this. Okay, so we deal with that. We deal with the voter suppression that was taking place also in 2016 presidential election as well. Okay, so those are just some of the lectures that you get. And then also you get the in the bundle until June 4th, limited time only, you also get the Heavy is the Crown documentary, which deals with the African origins of the 3 major religions, and it has Professor James Small and Professor Kaba Kamene, 2 of my teachers, and Tony Browder in that documentary as well. So you get that as a bonus. That's for a limited time only to June 4th. Okay, so we deal with all this, and we deal with like the film Black Panther. We know that the Neter Bastet, who we see in the film Black Panther. We know that Bastet comes from Bastet, who was an ancient Kemetic deity who was worshipped in the form of a cat, a form of a lioness, and later a cat. She was a deity or neter of warfare in Lower Egypt, Lower Kemet, worshipped as early as the 2nd dynasty, around 2890 BCE. So, and then we deal with, like the film Black Panther and the word Wakanda and what Wakanda means, because Wakanda comes from Omaha Ponca and Sioux Indian languages. It means possesses secret powers. Wakanda is a real word. There's also a Bantu word as well. It's in Key Congo. What is Bantu? Bantu Languages are a group of some 500 languages belonging to the Bantoid subgroup of the Bantu Congo branch of the Niger Congo language family. The Bantu languages are spoken in a very large area, including most of Africa from southern Cameroon eastward to Kenya and southward to the southernmost tip of the continent. 12 Bantu languages are spoken by more than 5 million people, including Rundi, Rwanda, Shona, Isikosa or Kosa, and Zulu. Swahili or Kiswahili, which is spoken by 5 million people as a mother tongue and some 30 million as a second language, is a Bantu lingua franca, important in both commerce and literature. Britannica.com has some good information on Bantu. There are other sources you can look at as well. Okay, but we know Bantu is the language spoken in the film Black Panther. So we look at different ancient civilizations like Carthage, and we look at the Punic Wars and Hannibal Barca as well in the Battle of Cannae in 216 BC. Hannibal defeating the Romans. So we go through and look at this history chronologically. We look at the Kingdom of Great Zimbabwe as well, Axum also. And then we look at the Moors, and the Moors going into the Iberian Peninsula and settling in 711 AD and settling in Al-Andalus. Okay, and they're going through Morocco. And we know that in 711, General Tariq ibn Ziyad, where he lands, they call that Jebel Tariq, or Tariq's Mountain, and we call it Gibraltar. Gibraltar, or the Rock of Gibraltar. Gibraltar comes from Jebel Tariq, Tariq's Mountain. In 711 AD, the boat Tariq crossed the straits and disembarked near a rock promontory, which from that day since has been known as borne the name Jebel Tariq. Tariq won paramount victory over the opposing European army. Okay, Ranoka Rashidi had a really good article he wrote for AtlantaBlackStar.com, Moors, Saints, Knights, and Kings, the African Presence in Medieval and Renaissance Europe. Okay, in the aftermath of these brilliant struggles, thousands of Moors flooded into the Iberian Peninsula. So eager were they to come that some are said to have floated over on tree trunks. Tariq ibn Ziyad himself, at the conclusion of his illustrious military career, retired to the distant east. We are informed to spread the teachings of Islam. Okay, there's really no need to speculate on the ethnicity of these early invaders of the conquest period. Primary Christian sources relating to the conquest, particularly the Primera Chronica, General of Alfonso X, make the following observation regarding the Moors. Their faces were black as pitch. The handsomest among them was as black as a cooking pot, black as a cooking pot. So we talk about the Black Saint Maurice as well, who became a patron saint to Germany. So we do a lot of history in this class. You're going to learn a lot. The Mansa Musa, there was a good article from history.com, official website of the History Channel, which shows the relationship between Mansa Musa and T'Challa in the film Black Panther. Here's an excerpt of the article. In the vast fictional universe of Marvel Comics, T'Challa, better known as Black Panther, is not only king of Wakanda. Oops, what did I do? Is not only king of Wakanda. Let's go back here. Advance too far. Is not only king of Wakanda, he's also the richest superhero of them all. And although today's fight for the title of wealthiest person alive involves a tug of war between billionaire CEOs, the wealthiest person in history, Mansa Musa, has more in common with Marvel's first black superhero. Mansa Musa became ruler of the Mali Empire in 1312 Common Era or AD, taking the throne after his predecessor Abu Bakr II, for whom he had served as deputy, went missing on a voyage he took by sea to find the edge of the Atlantic Ocean. Mansa Musa's rule came at a time when European nations were struggling due to raging civil wars, struggling due to raging civil wars and a lack of resources. During that period, the Mali Empire flourished thanks to ample natural resources like gold and salt. Now, this article is from the History Channel. These Europeans are telling you that West Africa, Mali, was thriving when Europe was in disarray and dealing with lack of resources and famine and raging civil wars. This is an excerpt of this article. This 14th century African emperor remains the richest person in history. Talking about Mansa Musa. This came out March 19th, 2018, the month after Black Panther came out, which came out February 16th, 2018. This is at history.com. Okay. Of course, you deal with Christopher Columbus and understand Columbus because Columbus helped to spread the transatlantic slave trade. Okay. He didn't create it, but he helped to really lay a good foundation for the transatlantic slave trade and cause it to spread. We look at where Columbus went on his 4 voyages. He never came to the land we call the United States of America. The closest he came here, which is Cuba, which is about 90 miles away. And we know that he set sail August 3rd, 1492. And that's late in the same year that the Moors lose control of the last stronghold in Granada, January 2nd, 1492. Okay, so these are all some of the things we deal with in the class. There's a ton of information with different timelines of history that we look at as well. So you never look at history the same. Reason why this history is so important is African history and culture give us our foundation. They give us our VIPs, our values, our interests, and our principles. This influences our economic empowerment and political empowerment. This gives us a foundation that we see reality through. So when 2 of my teachers, Dr. Leonard Jeffries and Professor James Small, teach, they talk about the pyramid principle. The foundation is African history and culture. This gives us our values, our interests, and our principles. This influences our self-esteem, our self-development, our self-worth. Okay. And then this impacts our economic empowerment, how we engage in economics, the type of businesses we have, the institutions, etc., the forms of businesses, engaging in cooperative economics, the co-ops, which we have a deep, rich history of. And these were principles we brought with us from Africa, the principles of cooperative economics. This also impacts our political empowerment and our understanding of politics. And politics is the legal distribution of scarce wealth upon resources and the writing of laws, statutes, ordinances, amendments, and treaties, their adoption, interpretation, and enforcement. So we have to have a synthesis of all 3 of these. Okay. And our history and culture gives us that cultural paradigm that we see reality through, but also impacts how we see ourselves. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow the people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. Okay, so it's just a brief overview of some of the content from this 10-week online class that I teach on Saturdays. You don't have to be present in class. You can see me, I can't see you. We have a live text chat so you can ask questions in class, but you can view the content anytime. So if you work, you're busy, you can't join us in class live, you can go back and watch it anytime. And we do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You still have access to the full class even after the 10-week online course is over with. So a year from now, 2 years from now, you can go back and watch the entire class. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. So we have the information at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We also have the link here in the thread of the broadcast. And you can use this information with your children. Also, I would say the content is PG-13. We also have a bundle pack where you can, the course bundle is discounted. It's on sale $100. It's a $385 value. You also get 15 bonus lectures from me that you can watch. They're in digital format also. And we have this promotion going on to June 4th. You'll also get a copy of the new documentary, Heavy as the Crown, from the Out of Darkness series, which deals with the African origins of the major world religions. So while supplies last, we have some of these in stock right now, but you'll get that as an added bonus. But this is a fantastic deal, even without the DVD documentary. Okay, so you can register for this class. As soon as you register, you can watch now. You can watch the class we did this past weekend. And the second course that you get, is from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. Okay, that's the follow-up class. I created this second class because this is a crucial period of history. We start in 1803 with the Louisiana Purchase and Haitian Revolution. And I had so much information in the first class, I couldn't really deal with this deal with this period of time like I wanted to, like it needs to really happen. Because when we look at the when we look at Reconstruction ending and we look at the Jim Crow era, we see a lot of similarities with what's going on right now in the attacks on voting rights and the Republicans pushing these voter suppression bills and things like this. Okay, so I created this curriculum here, created this course to specifically deal with that period of time. So that's a fantastic class as well. I teach this on Sundays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's on sale $60, regularly $130. You can register for the class separately, or you can register for the bundle where you get everything included. Okay, and if you've taken any of my online classes in the past, email me at ahnshow@africanhistorynetwork.com, and you'll get a 50% discount also. Okay, so hopefully you learned a lot from this. Register for the class. This also helps support the African History Network as well. Also, if you want to support us another way, you can do it through Cash App and PayPal, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App. Also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show. We have the information on our website as well. And our Cash App account is $ the AHN Show, SHOW. So when you go to it, it says Michael and shows my picture there. These other ones here are fake African History Network Cash App accounts. I'm trying to get them shut down. I contacted Cash App. They have launched an investigation because these fake African History Network Cash App accounts, some of them are using our logo. They've been stealing money from us. Okay, so this is our official one here. Here's our link, and here's the PayPal donate button also. Okay, and if you want to order the documentary on DVD, Heavy is the Crown, you can order it separately here. We have it here, $25. You get one of my lectures free with it also. Okay, look, we have to get out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Follow us on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network. Turn on live notifications so you know when we go live here on Facebook, and also on YouTube, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram at Michael Imhotep as well, and the AHN Show on Twitter. Okay, look, we have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. Register for the classes. Be sure to listen to the African History Network show Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation WFDF. And then we also broadcast on Facebook and YouTube when we're on live. I was doing Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to midnight last week. Last Thursday was my last day doing Monday through Friday. We're just doing Sundays. The show takes up a whole lot of time, and I can't keep doing the show every day. So we're just doing Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm still on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Fridays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time approximately. So you can watch me on Roland Martin Unfiltered. I do political commentary, and we discuss current news events, things like that. So download the Black Star Media app. You can watch Roland Martin Unfiltered there, or watch it on Facebook and YouTube, Roland S. Martin on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, we have to get out of here. Right now, it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you next.